It has finally happened, and a lot of us saw it coming from miles and miles away. Stadia by Google is officially dead. They will be closing down in January 2023. So, just to kind of cut to the meat here, I'm going to post on the video what the developers of Stadia said, or rather the company. We are grateful to the dedicated Stadia players that have been with us from the start. We will be refunding all Stadia hardware purchases made through the Google Store and all game and add-on content purchases made through the Stadia Store. Players will continue to have access to their game's library and play through January 18th, 2023, so they can complete final play sessions. We expect to have the majority of refunds completed by mid-January 2023. Yep, and that is pretty much it, guys. And the reason why I'm bringing this up in this video and on this channel, when it's primarily about The Elder Scrolls Online, is because, well, it has consequences for The Elder Scrolls Online as well. But before I get to that, let's kind of read more about what Stadia's shutdown basically did. It seems like, according to a lot of developers, at least on Twitter, that Stadia didn't even let them know that they were shutting down. So this is pretty interesting. That the game developers that are partnered with Stadia did not know. In fact, I actually on Twitter speculated that, hey, this may explain the sudden moving of quarterly updates back by a week post High Isle for ESO. So if you guys don't know, with High Isle, it was pushed back by about a week compared to like the previous years. And that's why in the calendar, everything has been pushed back by a week for the ESO releases. Quarter 4 and Quarter 3 is the same way. And that's how we could predict that the PTS was coming out on the 19th of September for Quarter 4 Update 36 Firesong DLC. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that was really factored into it, unless, ZOS was one of the few developers that maybe Stadia gave a heads up to. Not sure, but it seems like a very chaotic mess. Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, you lose all your progress. Right. In fact, there's a player with nearly 6,000 hours on Stadia that's asking Rockstar to see if there's something they can do with their progression in the game they made, and this really sucks for people who did invest in Stadia, even though they should have seen it coming with Google killing over like 200 products of theirs for the past few years. There's an entire website dedicated called Kill by Google if you guys want to check that out. Funnily enough, Google doesn't seem to be taking too much responsibility. Google has reportedly joined PlayStation in voicing concerns to regulators about Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, previously stating that Microsoft's purchase of Bethesda factored into them closing Stadia Studios last year. That seems like bullshit, but okay. I mean, there were so many issues with Stadia, but I'm not even going to get into that. But anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up again is because it has a lot to do with ESO. Because last year I made a video talking about why Stadia is unhealthy for The Elder Scrolls Online, much to the chagrin of a lot of Stadia fanboys who said, "Hey, this is the future," or like, "It's not going anywhere," and well, it's going somewhere. And the reason why it's unhealthy for Stadia, as I iterated in that video last year, is because of Stadia's integration into ESO, the 6-week PTS cycle came about. So for those of you who don't remember, PTS cycles used to be about 5 weeks. With Stadia recertification, it became 6 weeks, with the 6th week just being dedicated to Stadia certification. That's pretty much it. Furthermore, it also affected the cadence of incremental patches for The Elder Scrolls Online, meaning, let's say after High Isle launched, a week after, they could have pushed out an incremental patch potentially without too many issues. But after Stadia, it became a bi-weekly incremental cadence, which basically was very concerning at the time because, well, this was during the time of Markarth, or right after Markarth, where it was a very, very buggy patch. And we were like, wait a minute, we can accept the fact that live service games will have a lot of bugs when you push out new patches. That's fine. But if you're saying Stadia is going to delay very needed incremental patches and fixes by another week, that's really bad for the health of the game. Even though they did, Design Online Studios did stress, hey, we can try to update quickly, but, it doesn't seem to be the case a lot of times. Although they have done it, so props to them. And also with Stadia being gone, It's gonna be really interesting to see what they do with the cadence of the incremental patches. We'll go back to a weekly incremental patch after launch of DLCs and quarterly updates, or if that, or will they also get rid of the 6-week PTS cycle? Because the 6-week, again, the week number 6, this is just for Stadia certification, nothing else. In my opinion, I think they should keep the 6-week PTS cycle, primarily because I think the week number 6 could be dedicated to debugging things and fixing bugs. I'd be totally fine with that, to be honest, because there's a lot of things that do often, for someone, whatever reason, whether it's resources, time, whatever, I don't really know, that a lot of bugs do go through from the public test server into live patch, even though it's been reported multiple times by multiple players. So I would be fine with a 6-week PTS cycle. I'm just kind of excited for the fact that perhaps the incremental patch cadence will be reverted back to more weekly one, which I think is, again, healthier for the game, because what happens is, for PC players, if it's a consistent weekly incremental cadence for patch fixes or patch, hot fixes and stuff like that, what that is basically down the line is it's better for console players because we get the fixes sooner, right? And that those fixes usually get snowballed or packaged into the launch or the subsequent incremental patches for console. Note that Stadia, however, did not affect the cadence of console incrementals, because console has their own certification process. But yeah, I'd like to see what you guys think about the closing down of Stadia. I think, again, not very surprising. It made me laugh a lot because it's like, well, we saw this coming years ago, and it's gonna be curious again, since ZOS may have been blindsided by Stadia shutting down, which again sucks, probably, and I'm just really curious what they're gonna do. And I think overall, ultimately, it will be better for the health of the game if the Stadia's effect was doing certain negative things for patches and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you are a Stadia player who plays ESO, you should not be losing progress on your account, because Stadia is basically PC servers. So you just need to probably get your refund through Stadia, buy it on a PC, and you can just log in. And the bad thing about Stadia was, honestly, you couldn't use add-ons, even though you are on PC. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. If you played on Stadia, let me know down in the comments below. I'm like kind of curious how many people played on Stadia in the past couple of years. Alright, and see you guys soon.